his acts. He needs to pay for his acts by going to jail. And maybe that will give some of the victims of his an opportunity to heal a little bit.
The first thing that went through my mind is joy and overwhelming tears, sobbing, but tears of joy, but I couldn't stop sobbing.
6:50 here, Big 550 KTRS. Mark Remillard is in Norristown, Pennsylvania, covering the Bill Cosby trial. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
So, take us into the courtroom. What happened as this verdict came back?
What a moment that was as the verdict was read one by one. 3 counts of an aggravated indecent assault. Guilty, guilty, guilty. I was sitting in the gallery, and right behind me were 3 of his accusers. They audibly gasped. A couple of them left the room and burst into tears as soon as they got out of the courtroom. Andrea Constant, the main accuser, who is the reason these criminal charges were brought up against Cosby, sitting a couple rows in front of me, nodding her head in approval. Bill Cosby, meanwhile, as the verdict was read, not much reaction out of him, actually. Head bowed, eyes straight forward. It wasn't until after the jury left and they were going over whether or not to keep him out on bail until he's sentenced that Cosby yelled at the prosecutor, who was arguing that he was a flight risk and that he had a plane. Cosby yelled, "He doesn't have a plane, you bleep," cursing at the prosecutor. That was an incredibly shocking moment, almost as shocking as the verdict.
So you could hear him say that clearly.
Oh, everybody in the room heard it. It was not quiet. It was a yell, 100%, a big booming voice out of Bill Cosby cursing at the prosecutor, and no one, it was unmistakable.
And he was referencing himself in the third person.
Yeah, he said he doesn't have a plane. You know, I don't know why he said it that way. I didn't really read too much into that,
right.
But that's what he said.
So he's out on bail. He's for sentencing. How does this work?
Yeah, so the prosecutors were arguing that he was a flight risk, you know, a man of incredible wealth with resources, and that he may run. But the judge was having none of that. He, in fact, was actually pretty tough on the prosecution for making that claim, basically saying he's done everything that he's been asked to do over 2.5 years. And, hey, 2 trials here. He's done everything he's been asked. So the judge let him out, or let him stay out on bail until the sentencing in 60 to 90 days, pretty much under house arrest, GPS monitoring, passport surrendered. Those kinds of things. In the meantime, he'll undergo a bunch of assessments, including a sexual violent predator assessment, and basically all that information, including his age, health, all those things, will be considered by the judge during that sentencing as he decides what to levy against Cosby for what are serious charges. He's facing, in theory, up to 30 years.
So there's a very real possibility Bill Cosby, on the Mount Rushmore of comedians, might die in jail.
It's possible. He's 80 years old, and if the judge follows the sentencing guidelines here, there is no minimum on these charges. But if the judge follows the sentencing guidelines, Cosby would be in jail until he's 85. And any sentence over 24 months, he'd be in the state prison system, not at a county jail. So it is possible that this could be a life or death sentence, depending on how you look at it.
And his wife was with him every step of the way.
Well, his wife was not there in court. She actually made her first appearance the day, 2 days before, I believe. It was during closing arguments that she was there. She was there for the morning as the defense gave their closing arguments, left after that. She was not in court with him when he was sentenced, so she has not been very visible, but she has been by his side. You know, they are still married through all of these accusations of not only infidelity, but drugging and sexually assaulting women. She has, you know, not moved to divorce him or anything like that.
Mark Remillard in Norristown, Pennsylvania. Thanks, Mark. Good stuff.
Thank you.
You got it. Bill Cosby in general lockup in prison. I mean, that's just shocking.